Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
All right, Coach G from Bradley. It is great to see you, Andrea. Thank you so much for joining us on this
Glad to
segment
be
of the
here.
Missouri Valley podcast.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's just cut right to it. I mean, it hasn't been exactly what you thought. I mean, the Gabby Hawk injury definitely has played a role in the outcome of your season so far. So, I mean, how are you managing it with your kids?
Yeah, it's really just the same message. Let's get better every game, every day, every practice, every drill. You really got to take it down to that level, and just stay focused on what we're doing and what we're learning each practice. And I know we haven't, the wins aren't coming, but I was just talking to staff about where you look at our first game without Gabby, we lost by a point at Evansville, and just watching that game and from this weekend playing Missouri State and SIU, which I thought we competed for 3/4 of each of those games, and 3.5 actually against SIU, and we are a better team, and you can see things coming together, and we count on three freshmen, a lot of and they're playing against super seniors, so it looks a little ugly at times, but you could see it coming together, and it's just hey, just stay focused. You're gonna have adversity, you're gonna have tough times, but that's sports, that's life. A lot of life lessons this year, which is one of the reasons I love basketball. It's a team sport, and so we talk about that a lot. And at the end of the day, the silver lining is these young kids are there's not going to be super seniors in the conference. Years a couple of years from now, and you guys will definitely have the benefit of all the experience you're getting this year.
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, it's a deeper dive into the detail of what you're doing and your messaging and how it's coming across every day. Now, it might not show up on the left side or on the right side of the column, but on the left side, if you're seeing progress based on going to the tournament last year and then having some adversity with the injuries, you got to feel like you're heading in the right direction overall. Like you got to see the big picture here, right?
Well, absolutely, and yes, we've had a lot of success over the last several years, and but it really is about I'm thankful that our culture is very strong in our program. We have competitors, and so when you have strong culture, and I know coaches talk about it a lot, but really culture is everything. And if we weren't as strong as we were in that regard, then I'm not sure we could continue to improve through the adversity. But we have it, and it just reminds me of my old high school coaching days, because we get down to the nitty gritty in the drills and the basics, and that's not going to change. And you can't. It's hard, when you're scouting teams and you have to quick turnaround, especially in the Valley. You got one day off in between games, but you can't. I can't go away from the fundamentals and the basics of basketball right now. And so I think just having that high school coaching experience is paying off right now in terms of how to approach every day, and let's not get bored with the details, because it's going to pay off eventually.
How has all of this made you a better teacher? You've always been an excellent teacher. You've always played with incredible fundamentals, and then you put concepts around the fundamentals in your personnel. But you have to be able to teach at a different level. And it sounds to me like you're really doing the micro stuff right now with your young group.
Yeah, and that's what you have to. I mean, every coach, at this level loves the game planning, the X's and O. I mean, that's so fun.
Mhm.
But you do sometimes you have to shift and you have to pivot and you have to read your team. And if we're out there talking about schemes and over, analyzing X's and O's, we're not going to get anywhere, because you have to play with your personnel. And right now it's fundamentals. It's you know, uh, yeah, we're tweaking some things, obviously, and we got to continue to tweak, find an extra scorer out there. But it's really why I got into basketball. I've always loved the fundamentals, and so you just have to pivot a little bit and know that it's going to pay off in the future. And I do love our team. They're so coachable. You hate to have adversity, but this team, they are fun to coach. They just want to please. I'd like for them to have a little more swag out there. So the coaches get out there and we try to swag it up a little bit, just to teach them how to play with some swag, and you know, and they laugh at us a lot, and you know, but we can embarrass ourselves. We're fine with it. But I think that's, you know, we're missing some swag. We really are, and you know, it'll come out eventually.
I can't imagine you being a swaggy trash talker at all. Like, give me an example of what you mean. Like, you and the coaches are trying to bring some swag every day.
Oh shoot! I mean, we get our coaches into practice, and we just tell them, "You're not scoring on me." You know, I'm getting out there in warm-ups now before games, and I'm just talking trash to them from the get-go, and you know, tell them that they're gonna have to, the kid they can't score on me. Well, you know, obviously they can because I can barely move anymore. But you know, they're just, you know, just trying to teach them that, trying to find that little fire in them, and I know our coaches enjoy it. I have a great staff, and you know, we have a couple coaches out there practicing every day, and it's you know, they'll give it back to us every now and then. So it's fun, but I think just, you know, again, just trying to get them to play with a little bit more confidence, and you know, having fun with it. But our staff does a good job with them, and like I said, they're very coachable, and you see bits and pieces of it coming every day in practice. And I thought for, you know, 50-60% of this past weekend at Mo State and at SIU, you can see it in chunks.
I think every coach has a trick shot in their bag that they pull out of practice, or you know, like for me, I'll take on any kid in the country from 15 feet. I mean, just bring it. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little trash to myself when I'm walking by. Like, that's the best you got. Are you gonna make a shot
Hmm.
today? Or,
Yeah,
you know, that kind of stuff. It's just fun to mess with the kids.
it is.
You mentioned culture, and I know you've been around the game a long time, and I know how much you love the game, how passionate you are. Like I said, I've known you for a while. Um, when you say culture, I want to know for you, because I do think sometimes it sounds like a cliche. I think everybody
Mhm.
talks about it, but not everybody really can explain exactly what theirs is. As a parent, you've got grandkids, you know, you've been around, you know what tough love is. How important is that around your culture?
Oh, it's everything. And you know, I got into coaching, not for the money. You know, it was high school. I was making like $1,500 a year, and the whole reason is what I learned. You know, playing at Bradley under Coach Boyer, just the lifelong lessons. And she's still my sounding board, and but she created that, and I've been blessed to play for strong female coaches who work tremendously hard. And you know, our core values are gratitude, ownership, accountability, and toughness, and we start with gratitude. And you know, it's something maybe that people don't talk about enough in Division One athletics anymore. But grateful people are usually the happiest people. So we talk about
Mhm.
that a lot. And you know, it's just talking to the team the other day. You know, when you have a family someday and you're working a tough job and you wake up and you're sick, you got to figure out how to take care of your kids and go to work and figure it out. And I think just that toughness is something I think you'll say is what if you take away. And I told him, I said, guarantee in 5-10 years from now, you'll say, Coach, you're right. I'm having a rough day, but I played basketball at Bradley, and if I got through that and everything and the demands of playing Division One basketball, and especially with the academic requirements here, I can get through a sick day with my kids. I can get through, you know, loss of a loved one. I can get through, you know, potentially losing a job or maybe not being promoted, even though I thought maybe I should be. But those are things that you probably know as well. As I always dip into those on those tough days. Like, hey, you know, I had to go through some adversity as a student athlete. I can do it as an adult. And I think you know, we don't know that when we're playing, right? We're focused on the
No.
next practice, and we don't appreciate any of that stuff. But we know at the end of the day that they're gonna look back and they're gonna really count on what they gained as a Bradley student athlete. So I just know what Coach Boyer did for me. When I came to Bradley, I was a quiet little kid from Detroit, and didn't have a lot of swag, and you know, left here very confident that I could take on anything that comes my way. And I just really want the student athletes here that come through our women's basketball program to feel that confidence when they leave.
You're right. When you put your playing days on your resume, you don't put your points and rebounds on there. You just put that you played. And that means a lot to employers across the country to know that you can operate inside a team setting. I think it's so critical. It's a
Absolutely.
great segue, Andrea, to Coach Boyer. I know
Mm.
she's your mentor. When I see her, I ask her about you. When I see you, I ask you about her. And I do get the chance to see Lisa a little bit more than I get to see you. But we have that definite link there, that connection to Coach Boyer. Tell me what it means to you to have a mentor like that and somebody that you know that has your back, you can totally trust, and you can ask anything and get a really good, transparent, honest answer.
Oh, all the time. And she's my sounding board, not just with basketball, but life. She's truly one of my best friends, and just very fortunate. Just a great role model. I've honestly have never met a harder working person, coach, anyone than Coach Boyer. I mean, I played for her for 4 years, and then I was a GA under 1 year, and I really saw how much time and effort she put into the game of basketball, and always had a great mind for it. And then I tell you, when South Carolina won the national championship game, I was there and got to go on the court and celebrate with her, and never been more happy. No one deserved it more, because she started. She's been in this game since she graduated from college, right? So, and again, she's just someone that just so passionate, brilliant mind. But we have a lot of fun stories about, our teammates, our Bradley teammates, about hers coaching, and she always kept us on our toes. And she just, she's 30-year-old. I mean, she's got so much energy, and I haven't seen that diminish at all. And so, yeah, I obviously rely on her in tough times, and hopefully she knows I'm always there for her as well. So she just actually sent me one of her new clothing line. I just got it yesterday, opened it yesterday. It's women's basketball versus everybody hoodie. So she just always keeps me in. I was happy to get home from a rough road trip and open that. So it was very nice.
That's very cool. I should have referenced Lisa Boyer, the associate head coach at South Carolina for Dawn Staley, just so that everyone knows who we're talking about. If you don't know her, you should know her, because she's an incredible networker and a resource to a lot of coaches, just like Dawn
Absolutely.
is, and just like you've been. You're lucky you have your coach. I miss mine. Kay Yao was my
Yeah.
coach. How important is it, do you think, or how much do you try to make sure these kids understand that it's not just a bunch of lip service that you're providing for them, that you actually have experienced all that they may go through, and for the most part, and just trying to help them navigate, like some coaches take kids' phones away, some coaches have curfews, some coaches have a lot of rules, some coaches have guidelines, some coaches have standards, some have expectations. Like where do you see all that in today's game?
Yeah, we have expectations. I think you know, we treat our student athletes like adults, and we guide them. We're always here for them. Um, the personality when we're on the floor is super intense. When we get up into the office, we're just, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, that comes more out when I'm not on the court. But I tell them all the times, this isn't a 4-year commitment; it's a 40-year commitment, and we're here for you guys all the time. And the best part of coaching, this is my 25th year. I hear from former players from high school when I coached at small college, SIU when I was with Cindy, um, that stay in touch, and it's that's what it's about. And there's nothing like Division I basketball, and we have a bond with our coaches, with our teammates. And again, I don't think that the current players really understand that, and it's unfortunate because we don't get it till we're in the real world and we're out, and how much we miss our teammates. And I'm still really close friends with a lot of my Bradley teammates. So it's one of those things. It's like a parent telling a kid, and the kid's like, "Oh, mom, you don't know anything." Well, then they go to college and they're like, "Hey, my mom's a little smarter than I thought she was." It's kind of like that, right? All of a sudden, your parents become very smart when you're in the real world, but
Yes.
when you see them every day and you're just, going through the grind with them, you're like rolling your eyes. But yeah, parents get a lot smarter, coaches get a lot smarter when you're not in there, you know, dealing with them every day, and so they don't understand it, but I know I'll always be there for our kids and that have come through Bradley and all the other schools. And it's the best part about coaching, in my opinion.
I'm going to paraphrase this, but I say this to my three boys all the time. You know, Mark Twain used to say something like this: when I was 18, my mother was the dumbest person I ever met. By the time I turned 21, I couldn't believe how much the old girl had learned.
That's it. That is it.
And they look at me like, yeah, whatever, mom, you know, like, sure. Okay. So you, let's talk about the Valley for a quick second, because you did get to represent the Valley in the tournament last year, which I know was a big deal for you for being an alum, and just the way your team progressed through the season. This year, the Valley is most likely going to get two. I think the Valley has established itself as a league that's a multi-bid league. Now, you and I have been in the league a long time, and I say I've been in the league because I covered the league when Lisa Boyer was a head coach at Bradley, and when Jackie Stiles was playing at Missouri State. And so I go way back to that time, into the mid 90s. And so I always say it's a great coaches league.
It really is.
Am I way off on that?
No, outstanding coaches year in, year out. Everyone has different philosophies too, which is fun, right? So you play one team and they're running gun and they're shooting threes, and you got another team, it's just a slugfest. And I just love that the coaching, the X's and O's, and the game, just going back and forth in a game it's challenging, it's fun, and I also think that our student athletes represent this league very well. I mean, I think that Valley team's always going to play hard. They're always going to be well coached, and we've had multi teams in it in the tournament. I don't know how many years. It just seems like that's more the norm than the exception now. So to me, it's, you know, when we recruit as, hey, this isn't just a one bid conference, and you know, and I think the Missouri Valley's done well in postseason play, and I'm not shocked at all that there would be two teams out of our conference this year, and deservingly so. It's a tough. We're an older conference this year for sure. And just so much experience. And I think the teams that do make the postseason, whether it's the NCAA tournament, WNIT, I think you're going to see those teams do very well.
And you mentioned another great segue to Cindy Stein. I was going to ask you about Coach Stein at Southern Illinois, announced her retirement at the beginning of the year. You worked with Cindy. Everybody in the league knows what a kind of incredible personality Cindy has. Take us a little bit behind the curtain, as somebody who worked with her and somebody who knows her well. Like, how great is it to watch her celebrate her final year? Because she really looks like she's having a good time with her team.
She is. And, you know, I just obviously saw her on Saturday, and, you know, the game will be much more boring when she's not in it. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, she's one of the funniest people. I actually played for her. She was the assistant coach under Coach Boyer when I was, so I had her as assistant coach for 4 years when I played. And, you know, Boyer was all the high flying, you know, offense, and Coach Stein was the rebounding and toughness and defense. And it was great to learn two different styles of coaching within the same staff. And so I was very blessed and honored when Cindy asked me to come down when she got the SIU job and be her associate head coach. And I'm watching her do her thing. And we had some very successful years when I was there, and just had a lot of fun. But she's got the best sense of humor, can always turn anything into a joke. And I you know, I am rooting for them. Obviously, you know, obviously not when we play them, but because I do want her to see she deserves to go out on a winning note. She's, again, like I said, Coach Boyer was one of the hardest workers. Coach Stein is extremely hard worker. She loves the game of basketball. She's done so much for the game of basketball. And she's got the team that can do it. And, you know, so again, we're going to acknowledge her when she gets here. When we play them in February. She's from Peoria. She played at Richwoods High School. And like I said, she was an assistant coach here for several years, and she's left her mark on this program too. And I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her and getting that experience at SIU. So, but yeah, it's going to be a lot more boring without her. That's for sure.
I'm going to be counting on you to let me know when the Cindy Stein post game is going to be taking place when the season's over, because I know there's going to be one, and it might be Peoria, it might not, but I think that it's just a great way to celebrate her last year. I'm glad to see that her team is playing so hard to honor her great legacy in our game. And I know you're going to get it going soon. So watch out. Nobody's sleeping on you. Everybody knows what you're capable of doing. So I'm sure that you just keep working and becoming a better teacher every day. And that's all we want to do is get better, just a little bit
That's right.
better every day.
That's it.
Well,
That's it. I appreciate it.
thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Debbie.